Trump nominates heat up the airwaves. What happens next? Pete Hegseth's lawyer claims he was blackmailed during the Me Too movement. Biden going away gift to the world in even more dangerous place. This is Dr. David D. Schein for a special episode of Saving America with our weekly update. Trump nominations heat up the airwaves. What happens next? Given the ridiculous pack of losers Biden put on his team, including Harris and every one of his cabinet picks, it is incredible that anyone Trump has nominated could be worse than the best of the Biden clown show. This is a great article by Jack Hellner in the American Thinker titled "A Deal That the Media and Other Democrats Shouldn't Be Able to Refuse." Doesn't mean they won't. How about a deal where the House will release the Matt Gaetz ethics report on the same day that, a little bit of a list here, folks, January 6th committee releases all the information and recordings for witnesses that they hid from the public. They should also send a list of all the documents they have destroyed. The FBI gives a full record of all the lies told to the FISA court to illegally spy on President Trump and his associates. The FBI hands over all the information they hid about Joe and Hunter Biden. The FBI releases the names of all the people they know who are related to Epstein, of course, Jeffrey Epstein, and his illegal activities. That's the child pedophile operation in New York and so forth. Adam Schiff shares all the fake evidence he accumulated when he ran the endless witch hunts of the Russian collusion lies. Maybe when Alejandro Mayorkas gives an actual count of how many gang members, terrorists, and other criminals have illegally crossed the border while he has maliciously claimed that the border is secure. Maybe when the CDC, Anthony Fauci, and the NIH tell us the truth about COVID and that Wuhan lab. It's about time that the House released all the names of the members of Congress whose sexual transgressions were paid off by taxpayers from the Me Too slush fund. The author then asked, wonder if any of the instances involve pages or interns. How many current members of Congress are on that list? Since 1997, the Office of Congressional Workplace Rights has paid out $18.2 million of taxpayer money to settle 291 cases of workplace disputes for Congress, the Capitol Police, the architect of the Capitol, and the Library of Congress. Yes, the whack left loves disclosures when it applies to the other side, not them. Great list. Thanks to the American Thinker. Pete Hegseth's lawyer claims he was blackmailed during the Me Too movement. In a developing story related to my opening story, the wackos are going after Pete Hegseth, known today as a Fox News host and Trump's defense secretary pick. I note that I recognize his excellent military service in last week's Saving America. I also feel that the president needs to pick the right people with whom he can work. The U.S. military needs to cut the budget while ending the DEI and woke nonsense. America must be the preeminent military force in the world with its select allies in order to avoid World War III. And that is not hyperbole, folks. At the same time, I'm unhappy with the report in various news sources that an attorney for Hegseth said an accuser was paid blackmail during the Me Too movement. I'm a hardcore and do not believe in paying blackmail. In fact, if the story is to be believed, in 2017, Pete gets blind drunk and a gal took him up to his own hotel room and may or may not have had sex with him. She later claimed assault, but never filed criminal charges. Most of my audience know that I'm what in the legal community would be called a hanging judge. Rape should be punished with long prison sentences. However, that is if it really was non-consensual. I look for credibility to the immediate reporting of the incident to the police and lab report documenting that an unwelcome sexual encounter took place. Coming around in 2020, 3 years later, making a civil claim for monetary damages causes me much concern. The report says a payoff was made following a confidential mediation. The facts behind this are blurred for both sides. I do not endorse getting drunk or irresponsible conduct. However, the description of this incident by itself would not cause me to block the recommendation of Trump for Hegseth. Inquiring minds would like to know if there are more stories like this. The Pentagon failed its 7th audit in a row. The DoD annual budget is reportedly $824 billion, making it second only to paying the interest on the national debt for the U.S. budget. The report comes just in time for a change in leaders and the now famous DOGE operation to make government more efficient. The DoD claims it will have a clean audit in 2028. Nonsense. They need to have a clean audit now and certainly by next year. The report is done by departments and reportedly 9 passed, 15 had some issues, 1 received some type of qualified opinion, and 3 had no report at all. For the future DoD head access, let's start with every department passing the next audit. A quick additional note on the DoD. I hear reports that the new administration is reviewing court-martial charges against the military leaders who handled the international disgrace of the exit from Afghanistan. My response is too little, too late. I also believe that this was solely on Biden and his MIA DoD head, Lloyd Austin, both of whom already have their pink slips for January 20th. Clearly, a massive house cleaning across every government agency needs to take place in any event. If at all possible, I do want the Biden operation fully investigated, but that is separate from the military. Over 800 IRS employees owe millions in back taxes. In a special report from the Washington Examiner, apparently Senator Ernst requested an audit. Not sure of the trigger for this investigation. The stats are that the IRS says of 2,044 employees were reported to have balances totaling more than $12 million. 860 employees still have not paid their overdue taxes. So only 20 of the 70 employees who willfully evaded paying their taxes were removed. So that means 50 employees who willfully evaded taxes are still on the American payroll. Over 5,800 IRS and contractor employees owed nearly $50 million in overdue taxes. He's proposed a reform law to require an annual cleanup. That is long overdue. Biden going away gift to the world, an even more dangerous place. Let me count the ways. Biden's disastrous handling of the international scene directly contributed to the increasing threats from Red China, Putin, North Korea, and Iran. Parallel to this, BRICS is becoming a threat on the financial side. As an additional kick in the Uncle Sam's face, just in, Biden is on the far side of the back row of the official G20 meeting photo, while that murdering scumbag Z is in the center front. Time to put the adults in charge again. Just referring to Ukraine, things have gotten worse in the last 30 days. North Korea sent 10,000 troops to help Russia. This is a major uptick in this unjustified war. That means if North Korea continues to threaten the rest of the world, at a minimum, the USA would need to wipe both North Korea and critical targets in Russia off the map. That's not an exaggeration, folks. Yes, folks, could get real ugly real quick across the world. Biden's retaliation for North Korean involvement is to allow Ukraine to use U.S. long-range missiles to hit targets well into Russia, and that evil genius, not Putin, responds by suggesting the use of nuclear weapons. Folks, not a good outlook. Sadly, I doubt Trump can deliver on his specific campaign promise to end the Ukraine invasion in one day. Just not likely to happen. On the eve of this, Putin says his minimum demand is that Ukraine cannot join NATO and he gets to keep the valuable terrain he has already wrongfully seized. In the meantime, Russia is targeting energy assets inside Ukraine as the long, cold winter is about to hit there. I'd love to hear Trump's plan for digging out of this mess. I note that Nixon ran on getting us out of Vietnam in 1968. How did that work out for the Vietnamese people and the United States? Generally, I am against the last 30 years of mergers and acquisitions that has dramatically reduced competition and innovation. There is a reason that we have antitrust laws. I need to say that because apparently both political parties and most federal judges have forgotten that. In any event, sometimes it does make sense. The geniuses working for the U.S. taxpayers turned down the proposed merger between successful JetBlue and struggling Spirit. So in turn, Spirit has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which is called a reorganization plan. They have assured ticket holders that all tickets will be honored and they will keep flying. My immediate concern is that the feds increase safety inspections on the Spirit fleet to make sure there are no compromises there. Spirit's announced plan is supposed to have the restructuring process completed by March. So there is a report on X, formerly Twitter, that shows what is reportedly an official posting from Georgetown following Trump's recent victory. It references the McCourt School at Georgetown, which self-describes itself on X as, "We are a community of global citizens at Georgetown, conducting policy-relevant research and building bridges between our work and the communities we serve," end quote. So they announced a post-election self-care suite for students to deal with stressful times. I read from the posting. 10 to 11, tea, cocoa, and self-care. 11 to 12, Lego situation. 12 to 1, healthy treats and healthy habits. 1 to 2, coloring and mindfulness. Folks, remember, this is for a university, not a kindergarten. 2 to 3, milk and cookies, same reminder. 4 to 5, Legos and coloring. 5 to 6, snacks and self-guided meditation. Remember, as a Catholic school, they should have been for the party that opposes abortion as a routine form of birth control and certainly cannot endorse abortion up to the end of the 9th month and beyond. These are consistent planks in the Democrats' platform. What is going on that campus? This is Dr. David D. Schein for Saving America's Weekly Report. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate your support on our various platforms and social media. Please subscribe and tune in again.